Good evening, everybody. I'd like to thank you all for coming out here tonight. We doubly appreciate it because obviously for many of you it was a terrible traffic experience. We're sorry about that. The next time around we'll be very careful not to schedule one of the big rock stars in town. If Spock deigns to tell us about that in advance. We'll have to work on that. Great. I'm Larry Dudley. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I've been with DFA, the Dean campaign before that for many years, and I know Jim Dean, and our team that came down from Burlington from him, Julia Martin, Lilia Sherman. And we want to thank you all for coming tonight and being here for Val Keehn, and also to hear Jim Dean. I think Jim's presence is a measure of the importance of DFA, stresses on this campaign, and the importance of this area politically. Guys like Jim don't usually come to communities as small as Saratoga Springs. It's really pretty special. We're not Denver, we're not Chicago, we're not San Antonio, but nonetheless, Jim Dean is here. And we really appreciate his being here.
Yay! Woo!
Jim drove up from Connecticut this morning to be here, and we actually went to the Post-Star earlier. He had a great interview with the editorial board of the Post-Star. We're hoping that'll be in the paper tomorrow. You might want to watch for that. Great spokesman for us, progressive causes, and also for great candidates like Val Keehn, who I think always agree. All this degree is the kind of progressive grassroots Democrat that we want to see, and it just so proves our DFA concept. Went to our DFA training 2 years ago. You know, it's just given us a lot of fair credit. We're just so proud of Val because of what she accomplished here. So anyway, I'm not going to blab on here. I'm going to let Jim speak, and he's a much better speaker than I am, and Jim will introduce now. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. And thank you all for coming. I'm not sure whether to yell or...
Yes, go ahead.
There we go. That looks a little bit better. First, thank you all for taking time out of your schedules and in many cases braving the traffic to be here. I know there's some folks here from Essex County and from Albany, and I'm very, very appreciative that you've been up here in support of Val. I also want to thank the folks here at the Inn at Saratoga for letting us hang our hat here. This is a wonderful place. Can we give that a hand? And I just want to say a few things for a couple of minutes. First, just for those who don't know about what Democracy for America is, Democracy for America was an organization that was started by my brother Howard, who, by the way, is older than I am, just to make sure that we have that down. And he really had the vision that we really needed to do really what the Republicans have successfully done in the 1980s, which is really to get people to run for office at all levels in all parts of the country and to stand up for their values, which frankly the Democrats hadn't done that good of a job over the 15 years starting in the 90s. Howard, of course, went to the Democratic National Committee, and now we're not really legally allowed to talk to each other anymore. But Democracy for America is really continued, and what we really are is about trying to help leadership development. You know, we have 600,000 members. We're in about 750 groups in about 48 states that are doing actions all over this country, whether it's for the Iraq War, now it's for healthcare, which we're working very, very hard on, and for candidates such as Val. We've done an extensive training program. We've had about 13,000 activists go through this program, who are all, we're going to have hopefully 25,000 by the fall of 2008, and we're going to be asking all of them to be responsible for 100 votes apiece, so that we can really make a difference in this election. But where this is all headed is, the fact is we need more citizens in our government. We need more people running for office, and that is the whole thing behind membership, behind community development, behind training, is to get people to support them running for office, to support them if they're hired by the party or hired by a campaign or hired by an advocacy group, because the real solution to getting out of Iraq, the real solution to solving our healthcare crisis, the real solution to solving our budget deficits is for us to take control of our own destiny in this country and to take control and own the political process. And this, by the way, is a pain in the butt. Okay? It is not easy to go and run for office. It's not easy to join the party. sometimes. We have a very great, wonderful activist in San Diego named Charlie Imes, who has now found himself on the Rules Committee of the California Democratic Party. And, you know, he finds himself on another side of some issues with people that he was working very closely with for several years, but at the same time, he's taken ownership of this process. It's not easy to do it, but it's the work that all of us have to do. So when Val Keehn shows up and thought enough of a DFA training to go in Albany a couple of years ago and ran for office, it's really very much something that we feel a very strong part of. And it's partly because of her character, it's partly because of her politics, but more importantly, it's because she is a citizen like every single one of us in this room who decided that I'm going to take control of this process. I'm going to take control. Tough stuff. It's tough to step up to the plate, and that's something that I have an enormous amount of appreciation and respect for. When all of us do these things, it's amazing what a difference can make. It's amazing what 20 volunteers can do in a race such as this one, and I hope all of you are going to consider signing up to help Val canvass in this election that's coming up in September. But it really is the work that, again, that's got to get done. It's not easy to have a job. It's not even easy to take care of people you love. And then it's not easy to go work for a campaign and be given a list of people to call who aren't necessarily going to be happy to hear from you that night. But when you do this, when we go out and talk to voters individually, it is the most effective way to get our values and our ideas and our candidates across. And I really hope that all of you will consider doing this and signing up, even if it's a couple of hours a week. Very, very important right now, particularly between now and September 18th, if we can just put a little bit of time, of our own precious, valuable time, into her campaign. I would like all of you to please do that. The other thing that I would like to just humbly request, and we're going to put our money where our mouth is on this thing. I believe, Lara, you've got a check for Val, and this is from Democracy for America. You, and I would just I would humbly implore all of you to please open up your hearts to this campaign, and especially open up your wallets. There's going to have to be some direct mail here. When you canvass for votes, you're going to need some materials. Those are the things that cost money. This is not a big television thing. They're not paying a bunch of consultants from Washington to do this. This is money on the ground that stays here in this community, and it's very important that we try to do what we can, even if it's a couple of bucks, to support this campaign, again, to support citizens taking over our political culture and our political process. So, with that, okay, I will do that. And I am going to introduce the next mayor, as well as the current mayor of Saratoga Springs, with, again, great respect and admiration, and with thanks from all of us for stepping up to the plate to take on and make the tough decisions and to help lead this community into the 21st century, and probably maybe even a little bit of the region, too, which could use a little bit of help. But thank you so much, Val, for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, the good news is we're $500 richer than we were a minute ago. So